now we're going to move to a funny, well, not a funny story. It's kind of really disturbing. It shows how one individual will abuse power just to find romance. Who doesn't want to find romance, right? But once you hear the whole story, it's really creepy and disturbing. So let's hear about this creep that's, basically abusing his power.
Okay, so I'm going to do this as a little bit of a quiz for both of you. We're going to see. Okay. Did anyone read this story that I put in here? Okay, you read it? Okay.
Yeah, so, but
you didn't read it then, right?
I haven't seen it yet.
Okay, perfect. This will be the perfect that we need. Okay, so I'm going to have chat. You guys are going to be in on this too. Okay, we have a police officer who contacted over 150 women over almost a decade, reaching out to 750 women total, so that he could get dates with them using proprietary information that he should have been using to do official police business. What was his punishment?
Slap on the wrist.
Fired?
He resigned with pension.
Aww.
Good job, Burrow. They said if he didn't resign, we would have fired him anyway. So, of course, if anyone in chat, can you guys guess the state that this is in? It's exactly as stereotypical as you think it's going to be. Let's go through chat. If you haven't read it, guess what story it is. I'm going to keep going. We're going to see how many people guessed it. So this Sergeant Lionel Marines, I don't know how to pronounce his name, I think we're going to have a picture of him when this gets into a segment so you can see his shiny face and judge for yourself. Would stalk women. He would find younger women. He would follow them. He'd have their information, and he would go to their parents and try and get so he can talk to them. A lot of things so that he could get dates with these women. And you know who was really unhappy with this? His wife.
Oh,
I imagine.
Well, wait, I thought he was looking for romance.
He was looking for romance. That's why he was looking for not his wife, apparently. And they realized, and I said 700 questionable database inquiries as far back as 2012. He resigned the last year. We're just finding out about it recently because, of course, we are. And apparently he was very persistent and successful, and he got all these dates that he wanted, so he got laid, as I'm sure as he intended. The only thing we might have is that the FBI is looking into it, but when has that ever done anything? So let's see in chat.
Okay, hold on. I'll actually read the states. Daniel, so you tell us the correct answer. There's Florida. 2 people are saying Florida. That's my Dingo Ate Me Baby. Matthew Silva saying Florida. Teresa is saying Illinois. And then Grandma Christian, Texas, Tennessee. And then she also throws in Arkansas. So.
Okay, Paul, you're the only other one that hasn't read. What do you think?
I'm guessing Florida.
Yes, it is Florida. Whoever said Florida, ding, 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 ding. Of course it's Florida. Except
man, can we just put Florida Man at the beginning?
It is Florida.
Florida Man.
Florida policeman.
Yeah, creepy Florida policeman.
No, this is going to be the thumbnail we're going to use anyway, so I think...
Oh, man, that's...
Can we... Here, I'm going to... Just for the camera's sake, I'm just going to move it. There he is. That's the guy.
All right, back.
Look at that stud. No wonder he had to look for
I have a question about the story, though. So what database is he going through? So are these women...
police database.
Are these women that have... had interactions with the police or been arrested or something, or are they people who are registered because they're...
It didn't quite differentiate, but I would assume that would make sense.
Yeah.
They've gotten pulled over, they've been fingerprinted, or...
Yeah, probably something like that.
Yeah. Wow.
And you know what? That's abuse of power, and this is why there must be reform, political reform at the state level and federal level on how people who have these databases, specifically police departments who we trust to maintain order and civility in our country, they can abuse its power. I think we want cops, solve crimes, solve mysteries, so that the bad people go in jail. I mean, that's what we expect. But I guess the way the system is so fucked up now. You got individuals like that cheating on their wives and stalking women, and I don't know how many people he might have hurt along the way too. Is anyone in question how many women could have been really physically assaulted or mentally assaulted by this guy?
Well, we do know that rape is not a crime if you're a cop, because then it's he said, she said, and since you're a cop, your word means twice as much. So if so facto, you're not guilty, and that's only starting to change in a few states. I'm sure Florida hasn't moved, otherwise it wouldn't be known as Florida
has
Man.
A lot of stuff, man.
So the answer is, hey, remember, it's only illegal if you're not close to the power structure and you can't afford a lawyer to point it out. Yeah. If you don't have money, I mean, if anyone did this, imagine right now, individual A hacks in to the Florida, whatever database that they're using, contacts over 700 women and interacts with 150, they would be like, we have 150 counts of unlawful, 700 counts of unlawful access, 150 counts of unlawful this or that or the other thing. But because he's a cop, he just needs to resign and
Yeah.
I'm surprised they didn't just, push him off on a different precinct.
Well, don't worry. I'm sure that we're going to hear Arkansas man continues to.
Yeah, he'll resurface in a different state.
Yeah.
Just wait.
It's
and don't worry. Remember, cops get paid almost more than any other blue collar type worker that there is, and their job is actually quite safe compared to many other jobs in the country. It's not even in the top 10. I don't even believe the danger of being a cop is even in the top 50 most dangerous jobs. So it's overblown, and they're paid a huge amount of money. Here in Chicago, cops get away with whatever they need to get away with, and they're paid $100,000 a year for it. So that's the system. And as we learned way back when, on average they get less than 6 months of training, and most of that is at a firing range.
Jesus.
So to be a hairdresser takes more time than to be a cop.
I am not a big fan of the police. For many reasons. This is one of them. But I always like to point out that the creation of the police, we didn't have police in this country before basically, I believe it was the Pinkertons, right?
Those are private.
Right.
That's a sort of the Secret Service. The police was for catching runaway slaves.
Right, but the role of the police has, from its entire inception, has been to protect the capital-owning class.
Yes.
Is to protect companies, to protect businesses, to protect the means of production. It isn't to protect the citizenry. It isn't to protect people. It's to protect wealth. Mm-hmm. And to that end, I view most of the activities of the police to be generally oppressive and without merit. I think we could get along just fine in this country if we just straight didn't have police.
Well, I mean, there must be some. Here's the thing: there must be some form of protection for people. Because let's face it, there's always going to be bad individuals.
It'd be nice if a lot of the local stuff was like it's tiered. So like almost everything is dealt by community. Just the community itself enforces. If it's someone that is exceptionally an issue or exceptionally dangerous, then maybe you have like stationed around just certain police that are only there when they're called to be in a situation that and they're overseen by other people if they need to apprehend someone or this or that, but it really still goes within the community, and you organize the community in a way that does it. And then maybe you have one SWAT team that's there, but they're all in reserve. It's the community and these community leaders that are checking the neighborhoods, that know the people, that do this stuff, that have the actual starting power.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of merit to the community policing philosophy. Yeah. I think that's an excellent model, and I what I'm getting at is the current model that we have in place is inherently oppressive.
Yes.
By design, in effect, it
do what
is.
I say, and the more times you say no, the increased chance I have killing you. And again, because police in America, if you live outside the country, the standard for what you need to kill someone is, I was 5% scared for my life. And I guess cops are, and I'm not exaggerating in any real sense of the word, if a cop sees a family of 4 and they feel 5% afraid of them, fear for life, 5% fear for life because the dad has a hand in his pocket or something, they should kill the entire family by their own training. It's like MAD, except it's only one side. It's, if you feel threatened, just kill them. If you're scared, just kill them. If you don't know what's happening, just kill them. Mm-hmm. That's what it means to be a police officer. And I want to say, though, that it's not like I'm saying all cops are like this, because people are individuals. But the system, just like Paul said, in which they exist in, obvious outcomes always occur from obvious inputs. Mm-hmm. Policing, the way it is set up, will always act in a way that is predictable.
Yeah, and there's another thing too. Myra actually mentions in the chat that the wife should get tested, because who knows what this guy has or how many people he has hurt. Yeah. I mean, and look, it's not funny, because that is a real situation that's very disturbing to think about what this guy has done and how he abused his power. And also another thing we got to take away from this too is that, you know, there are good cops. It's just like what Daniel said, there is a corrupt system in there to where those good cops either retire, turn a blind eye to the corruption and try and, you know, go on with the numbers, or they themselves become corrupt. We need civilian oversight, and I think it's time like the communities get involved and we have local, state, and federal officials actually call for the reorganization of how policing's done.
I would even like if we did community organizing, but also brought in European police agencies to reform our agencies, because they have a good record of not killing people.
They almost never have to fire their gun.
And the communities respect them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I would love to do it, just adapt European stuff. So, yeah.
Did you like that video? Be sure to subscribe. Paul, what do you think?
We need your help in order to fight back against the military-industrial complex and corporations.
Yeah, that sounds right. You can do that by going to our Patreon page and supporting us. All we ask is for the equivalent of one Starbucks iced coffee a day, which is just $50. Please help us out.
It's cheaper now.